So welcome, Thursday night. Here we go. So we have our pillows at the ready. So I've got you on the little screen down here as well. Sorry if your notification will come up saying this is being recorded, but hopefully it'll all be worth it. So I'm just going to move a few things. I've got extra blankets just because it's so breezy here. We can hear it coming through the chimney. And the pillow I've got lengthways. Now we're all going to have slightly different thicknesses. I'm just going to show you, this is nothing fancy, it's just a bed pillow. And we're going to have it lengthways. And then we're going to come all the way down. Just going to move you to there. Have the base of the pillow, the short end, just at the bottom. Now, obviously, if you've got a super high, firm pillow, this will feel more of a lift. If it's quite thin, it will sort of disappear under the weight of the torso. But we're going to just take a moment, just feel into the sitting bones, just have a little movement side to side. In other words, you know, just rock the knees. That will do the trick because we're feeling into the all of the nerve endings around the glutes, the sitting bones where the hamstrings are inserting, lots of other muscles. So a little massage through them, and just check that you're on the sort of the far side of those sitting bones, and then rest in the center. Just lift up through the chest. You can press into the hands. So I've got my fingers facing down towards the heels. Elbows can be bent. You can slowly start to bring some extension by pressing into the palms. Little tone in the belly, start to lift the chest and just pause there. Nice deep breaths. Really notice that breath as it lands, wherever it lands. So it may be quite high in the chest, may still be just settling down, ready for our practice. You can close the eyes and just help the awareness to drop inwards. Slowly start to bring the awareness to the toes. Check the soles of the feet are in full contact with the floor. Yeah, placed around hip width apart. Well done. Now we're going to come down nice and slowly. Okay, so bend the elbows. Let this be a sort of slow and gradual movement back. So you're sort of rocking over the back of the pelvis. Just land, use your tummy muscles to help you come all the way down. And then lift the chest as though you're really aiming to bring a little arch up and over. And let the head, again, depending on the length of the torso, the head can just gently rest back, hopefully somewhere towards the top end of the pillow. And then let the arms just flop out to the sides. Keep the knees bent. So there'll be a little bit of, how can I describe it? Contact through the lower back as you settle. Yeah, just settling all the way in. A little release across the chest. And it may be that, you know, obviously, as I say, the pillows that we're all using will be slightly different. So you may wish to sort of tuck the end of the pillow so you get a little bit more support under the neck. It may be that you wish to be a little further up so the head can just gently rock back. And this is just to create a little bit of space around the neck, sometimes called traction, a little bit of space through the spine. Just breathe. You can again close the eyes, start to soften. Placement of the arms is important, just in the sense that you don't want those arms sort of winging up. Okay, so if they're feeling like you can't quite relax the arm, change the position. Hence, you know, you may want a blanket under the wrist, or you can extend the arms completely in line with your shoulders. If it feels too intense across the chest, then just rest the hands on the chest and bring the elbows a little lower. So in other words, bring the shape a bit more inward. Yeah, if that feels too open, too expansive, you know, perhaps it's that we need to build up to that and just do it very gradually. Ultimately, you know, you're the best judge of how you're feeling exactly at this time. So take your time as you do that. Nice deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose. And out. Nice deep breaths. breaths. Well done. So already it's a sort of state of calm for the nervous system, that little bit of elevation. If you think of what that cushion is doing lengthways, just supporting the spine all the way up to the neck. So feel free to, you know, shuffle down a little bit, move the shoulders away from the ears, whatever movement is required. You know, trust your body, just move really carefully with attention. Let the breath be your guide, so you can hopefully breathe into this in a way that feels spacious and open through the chest. And when I say the chest, I'm speaking about, you know, the whole of the heart space, the lung capacity, the ribs, the side ribs. Let the fingers naturally curl in if they're outstretched arms. So you can have the fingers just curling in towards the palms. And just breathe. Just notice the weight of the head. Hopefully there's a little bit of elevation, as it were. Yeah, so the head isn't completely in the air. It's resting on the pillow, but there's a little tip back, a little stretch through the spine. Again, that has to feel comfortable for you. If you need a bit more support under the head, you can wriggle down and have the head completely supported on the pillow. So as always, lots of options, lots of alternatives that you can tap into as you need. So hopefully no pain in the lower back whatsoever, just a softening, deep softening. Notice as you breathe in, if the chest is feeling a little bit more open, jaw is softening. And just really notice where you are in the room. Notice the clothes on the skin. Move into a more subtle awareness. Well done. We're going to extend the left leg. So just let that leg extend all the way. Check that you have the space. Deep breath. So with this little elevation, that may feel quite strong, depending again how high you are. There's a little lift up there through the diaphragm, lower ribs. Nice deep breath. And then you can slowly extend the right leg. Really get a sense of lengthening up from the pubic bone through the lower belly to the bottom of the sternum, and then up and over the chest. So if your pillow's anything like mine, it'll slowly start to be sort of softening down towards the floor. There'll be less of a lift, but certainly something to breathe into. Now that the legs are extended, and you can have the toes sort of pointing away, you can draw the legs together. That will feel slightly more intense. Equally, if it already feels enough of a stretch, leave the feet just sort of pointing naturally out towards the sides. Breathe into the lower belly. And with every exhale, just releasing on the out breath. You can put a sound to that breath, that sort of sighing out. You can be as dramatic as you like. It's one of the beauties of the mute button, that we can just be completely over the top if we need to be. I encourage that wholeheartedly. Well done. Flex up the feet. So just bring the toes towards you and stretch through the whole of the back of the body. Well done. Breathing and releasing. Bring the arms close into the body so you can keep the elbows nice and low to the floor. Breathe the arms up just above the chest. And we're going to bring the forearms together and the hands together. Draw the legs together. And just palms touching. So we're bringing everything in. Rest the hands just on the forehead there. So the thumbs essentially just resting there in the center of the forehead. Arms may not come completely together. Don't panic if this is you. You know, it's just too much of a stretch. It's okay. Come as far as is possible. This will be determined by the tightness in the shoulders and the neck. Breathing deep. So we're completely supported by the pillow up through the spine. Nice deep breaths. Breathing through the ribs. Slowly soften the arms, interlace the fingers. Rest the palms against the chest, the elbows just drop to the sides, and let the feet flop out to the side. So nice and calm. Deep breaths. Peel up the right leg. Peel up the left. Let the lower back just settle again. Not too much movement here. We're going to release the fingers, hands down by the sides. Take a deep breath in to prepare, and then we're going to push ourselves up and over to the side. Okay, so one big sort of roll to the side to come all the way up. Well done. Good job. We're going to simply pick up our pillow and fold it in half. Okay, so this will give us a little bit more space, a little bit more substance to press into. The space is going to come actually from the inner thighs. So take the legs a little wider apart and sit back on the heels. Now just notice, you know, this may feel quite sore, quite tender on the tops of the feet. So in that case, you're going to use a little blanket under the feet. I'm just going to demo all scenarios, and feel free to, you know, experiment. You can add the blanket, you can put a whole blanket out on your mat or duvet. I wouldn't recommend doing everything on the bed though. I think we do need a bit of substance with the floor. Well done. So that's folded. Knees are just a little bit apart. Lift up nice and tall. Hands just resting on the pillow. So again, it's going to be a slightly different pushback depending on what you're using, but we're going to lift the chest, start to feel that openness through the heart space, and turn from the pelvis, okay, the hip joints. Start to lean forward. You can use your pillow, your hands on your pillow. You're going to come all the way forward. Now the buttocks may come up, yeah, away from the heels. That's okay. Keep extending. Take those arms nice and long. So the chest starts to lean forward onto that pillow. And then when you can fold no further, just gently release, okay? Bring the arms in. You can then let the head rest. Feel free to adjust the placement. You may want a little bit more support under the head. So in that case, have the pillow a little bit further forward, away from the belly and closer up towards the chest. You turn the head to the side, deep breaths. And just slowly release. So it's essentially Balasana, sort of Mark 2. It's with that extra support, just allowing that softness, something to soften into, to meet that resistance, and then to melt into it. Feel free to change the position of the head. Okay, so you may want to rest forward. You can even rest on the chin. Okay, so feel if that's for you. It may be better to be on the forehead, or if you're extending the chest forward, resting the chin forward, look forward. Naturally, if you are resting on the chin, the air will be forced through the nose. This is like a natural sort of slowing down of the breath, creating its own little bandha through the throat chakra. It's easy to get a little tense in the jaw, so just keep softening and releasing. You can always come up, use the arms, and then relax back down. Nice deep breath. And be sure to turn the head to the other side. Make sure you've done both sides of the neck nice and evenly. And making some deep breaths. Rest in the center, whether that's the chin, the forehead, whatever you need. I'm going to stay nice and low, but we're just going to move the pillow a little further forward. Okay, so it may be best to just put it to its single thickness. And take the hands this time, bring the knees a little further together so you can take the hands down behind you. Rest on the forehead. And just breathe through the nose. Nice slow deep breaths. And this may take, a couple of adjustments, the placement of the forehead on the pillow. And take those extra props if you need them. If you need an extra blanket on there, let's change the position of the feet if that helps. Just releasing any tightness in the ankles, tops of the feet, soles of the feet. And if the hands are reaching all the way back, it can also feel super comforting just to wrap your hands around the heels or the soles of the feet and just give the feet a little massage, a little touch, little sense of contact, certainly through the inner edges of the heels, and then just let the arms soften. Well done. Let's take a nice deep breath in, bring the hands forward. Peel ourselves up nice and slowly just to look forward. Blink the eyes a few times. And just feel wherever you can that little sense of openness into the back ribs. Nice softening across the shoulders. Well done. We're going to turn ourselves around, give our legs a little rest, and take our pillow. You can extend the legs for a moment if they're feeling a little tight. Just going to move my blanket. Give the legs a little shake. Maybe a little energy bath around the backs, legs. Just massaging up through the calf muscles. Let them slowly come back to feeling if you've got any pins and needles. Well done. Good job. And we're going to take the pillow onto the lap, okay? Bend up the knees and just have the soles of the feet planted. So I'm going to keep this as a single thickness, but again, just determined by your thickness of your pillow. We all like slightly different thicknesses. So go by how it feels. Make a little bit of space, obviously pressing that into the thighs. Soles of the feet are planted. Feet are a little distance apart. And we're going to lift up and lengthen. So we're sitting up nice and tall. Deep breath in and then exhale. Start to walk the hands over the top of the pillow and just let the chest really work towards those thighs. Jostle for a little bit of space, certainly around the side ribs. Nice deep breath. And just rest there. So for some people, forward folds are really, really challenging. So this is a lovely way to make it slightly more accessible. Breathe in and then exhale, soften. Nice deep breath. You've got a few options here. This the bottom end of this pillow. You can roosh up and again use that for a little support either for the chin or the forehead. Okay, so it depends on how much of a turn you've got forward. It may be that you reach all the way forward and those arms just want to dangle forward. You can reach for the toes. If you can reach the toes, then you can hold on. Or just let the hands rest. Nice deep breaths. Ultimately, so you can feel that spaciousness through the whole of the spine, just finding a little bit of space throughout the vertebrae, throughout the ribs. And soften, just slowly soften. So the feet may come away from the floor and just be resting on the heels. So the toes may lift up, that's okay. It doesn't need to be any sense of force whatsoever. You can also interlace the fingers, have the elbows wide. And just breathe into the back of the body. It's a lovely way to feel into that spine. Well done, nice deep breaths. And over time, there's a sort of a surrender of that weight of the legs, the weight of the body. Everything starts to soften. But it takes time. It takes a sort of sense of letting go. And the same can happen here with the arms. You can let the arms just flop. You can rest the head on the temple and bring again, a little bit of support under the head. So just feel what is right for you today. And it may be different tomorrow. It's okay. It's just how it is. And whichever version you're in, just draw the hands down by your side. A little bit of support. Well done. Take an extension through both legs. Pop the pillow to the side. Tuck the pelvis down towards the heels. Plant the soles of the feet and then come to lie, this time completely on your back. Let the whole of the spine just kiss the earth exactly where it is. Hands rest on the belly. Nice deep breath. Avoid too much movement here. Just let everything settle. It's very tempting to start sort of interfering with the body as it resets. Just let it soften. If anything, just bringing extra attention to the breath. Breathing all the way in as everything settles, certainly down through the pelvis, through the spine. Excellent. And peel up the left leg, peel up the right leg. We're going to hug the knees in towards the chest. Now, if this is too much of a challenge, you take the backs to the thighs, okay? So there's always going to be an alternative. And that little movement could be just side to side, just rocking out that lower back of the pelvis. Deep breaths. You can hold any position. So if it feels super relaxing just to stay on one side of that hip, then just rest there. You can hold that shape, little movements, little massage into that thoracolumbar fascia, which gets quite thick and it can feel quite tight and a bit dense is the word I keep coming back to, but yeah, it can just feel a bit dull and achy. So forward and back is also nice. Well done. Slowly relax. Release that right leg. Keep the left leg lifted all the way up towards the sky. Interlace the fingers back of the thigh. Extend up through that leg. Shoulders relaxed. Notice if they're a little bit tense. Yeah, that's okay. Just breathe into it. Find a bit of space here around the neck. So we're going to extend the chin towards the chest now. So the back of the neck is long. Flex that foot, even if it means having a little bend in that knee, just so you can really stretch into the ankle. There might be a bit of shaking as well. That's okay. Let's start with a little rotation into that ankle and then come back to flexion. So we're just moving energy through the body, and that's okay. Well done. Nice deep breath. Let the weight of that leg really sink all the way down. Take a deep breath in. Release the hands. Keep the leg elevated and bring the arms up and over the head. Little tone in the belly. So now we're feeling hopefully a little bit more into the upper back, and just breathe into those shoulder blades. Nice and peaceful around the neck joint. I'm going to point those toes, and you can bend that leg to come down nice and slowly. Okay, so if it feels like it's talking at the back at all, just take it nice and steady. Just bend the leg. You can always bend the knee completely to plant that leg, and then extend. Toes away, tone in the belly, stretch the arms up. Exhale, release. Nice deep breath. Bend up the left leg. Just pause there. Nice softness in the elbows. Let the arms be completely floppy and the wrists. And as you breathe in, we're going to bring up that right leg. Okay, so we're going to take the arms nice and low around the sides, and then interlace the fingers around the back of that thigh. Same thing. Nice sense of contact. So you're pressing the thigh into the hands, hands into the thigh. Have the knee bent if you need to. Notice the breath all the way down into the belly. Good job. Little movement through the ankle. Just loosening off tightness there. And then flex that foot. So again, if it means having a bend in the knee, do so. And just notice, when we do bend and flex, what happens in the back of that hip, like another little release. Something else to just drop into, to be completely absorbed by. Well done. Take a deep breath in, and then releasing the hands, bring the arms up and over the head. Point the toes, nice deep breaths. Keep planting through that left foot. When you're ready, we're going to bend the elbows slightly, okay? Just find a little bit of space around the neck joint. Keep it loose. And then point the toes nice and slowly. Really isolate that leg as it comes all the way down. And then extend the arms, extend that leg. Nice big breaths, little tone in the belly. Well done. Extend the other leg so we're fully extended, long through the whole of the body. Deep breaths. So we can really feel that sort of tummy skin being taut all the way up from the pubic bone, all the way up through the chest, shoulders relaxing into the floor. Take the arms as wide apart as they need to be. Okay, so if this is causing any agitation in the neck joint, having the arms close together, just take them a little further apart. And then we're going to soften and relax. Elbows bend, feet flop out to the sides. Deep breaths. Well done. Breathe the hands onto the chest. Keep the elbows wide. Nice big breath into the belly, rising up with the inhale, exhale, and release. Good job. Let's bend up those knees. Bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees just flop out nice and wide. So the soles of the feet are pressing together. Depending on the tightness around the hips and the pelvis, okay, it may be that you need a little bit of support under the thighs. Well, obviously we've got our pillow for one side, but we would need to support ourselves under the other. Keep it nice and even, okay? If you're going to use some support under one, use it under the other as well, whether that's 2 cushions or 2 pillows. Breathe into the inner groin. So as the inner groin slowly start to release, you see how that feels all the way through the body. Well done. And it's just time, really, time and practice to allow these muscles to slowly surrender their holding, their gripping. Slowly release the arms, keep the legs where they are, elbows bend, hands rest on the belly. Breathe into that space. As the hands just rest around the navel, you can breathe into that area of the navel. Well done. Let's slowly peel up the legs, soles of the feet to the floor. Take the feet wide on the mat, let the knees just knock in towards each other. Interlace the fingers and press the palms up towards the sky. Just pause there. Deep breaths all the way into the back ribs. And then turn the hands so it's palms facing you. Look at the hands, hard-working hands. Well done. Rotate them one more time. Turn the palms out, stretch to the wrists. Feel that openness as well around the elbows. So often we feel our pain in our joints. Yeah, just notice if there's a little release. Just simply placing the hands in a slightly different position can release different muscles. Bring the hands onto the body. Elbows land, chest open and relaxed. Hands can flop down by the sides. Walk the 2 feet towards each other so we can roll over, all the way over onto our front. And take your pillow again and just place it under the pelvis. I'm going to come, or the belly. I'm just going to demo actually where I mean. So kind of the pubic bone, the top of the hips, a little bit of the belly. Really use those elbows. So it's a little bit of soft padding. And then you sort of travel a little bit further forward. So you start to gather up by tucking under the toes, lifting and lengthening. So we can do this little lean to one side to create space. On the opposite side, you can use your hands even for support and start to open up through the belly. Nice deep breaths. Keep the toes tucked under unless it's really super, if there's any pain whatsoever, just allow the knees to drop, toes can tuck under, okay? So it's a little passive version, a little bit more activated all the way through the body. There we go. And then lift and lengthen. Use your forearms into the floor until you slowly start to feel the front thighs kind of working. Yeah, a little wake up through the front thighs, a little tone in the glutes. Shoulders away from the ears. Deep inhalation. Deep exhalation. Then we're going to all drop the knees, tuck under the toes, let the legs completely rest. And then come down to rest. Take the elbows wide. Make a little pillow for the head. Now, that should feel comfortable on the belly. If it doesn't for any reason, maybe you had a big supper, then feel free to move the pillow a little further down under the hips and the pelvis. Just a simple little push under, a little bit more padding, but then there's space for the belly. Relax. Really feel into a sense of spaciousness across the back of the pelvis. Well done. Let's breathe in. Peel up nice and slowly back onto the elbows, forearms and wrists. Tuck under those toes. Lift and extend again. Extend through the backs of the heels. And then we're going to slowly walk the hands. You can then relax the legs. Point them again so you can sort of relax the toes, relax the tops of the feet. Change the position of the hands to come just underneath the chest. And you sort of have this little pivot action, yeah, sort of pivoting on the pubic bone and the hip bones. Let the legs ping up like a little seesaw. Now you need to use a little tone around the belly and the glutes. Doesn't matter if you don't come up far, but see it as a little seesaw action, okay? So you're pressing into your hands, which are under the shoulders. Good job. You keep looking forward, keep the head nice and steady. So again, depending on the thickness of your pillow, feel free to move the pillow a little further down, tops of the thighs and the pelvis, if it's digging into the belly too much. Breathe through the nose. Well done. Pause there, let the knees come down, tuck under the toes. Press all the way up to hands and knees and then extend back, all the way back. Deep breath in. So the buttocks head down, back down towards the heels. Arms are extended this time. Nice deep breath. You can keep the toes tucked under. If that's comfortable. Having a nice stretch through the soles of the feet. Good job. Come all the way forward. Nice deep breath. I'm going to move my pillow for now. Hands and knees, nice deep breath. Nice length all the way through the spine. A little bit more space, hopefully through that spine and up through the neck joint. And we're going to take a deep breath in, take the arm that's furthest from me and just watch that arm as it comes out to the side. And we're going to sweep it all the way underneath, coming towards me. Good job. So the back of the hand travels along the floor. Then the elbow of the front arm to come all the way down. Now you can rest that hand there by the face as you lower yourself, resting over that lower arm. Deep breaths. You can, of course, lay on your pillow for this, but it's a bit complicated. So it's easier just to push it out. You can experiment with that, you know, with that under the shoulder, particularly if the shoulder's really sore. A little bit of extra padding can help, so feel free if you need it to grab it. Same with the blanket. Notice, you know, legs are soft, toes are tucked under now, resting on the tops of the feet. You've got the added extra option, if you like, of walking that top arm, the one that's just by your face, all the way forward. Now, adjust as you need to on that lower arm, okay, as you slowly start to sort of surrender the weight of the torso onto that arm. You know, little breaths in, releasing across the chest. If it feels too much, if there's any shortness of breath, just take that hand all the way back towards the face and rest in that first position. Well done, good job. So to come up, bring the hand towards the face, press firmly, release that lower arm, have a little wiggle side to side, nice deep breaths. In fact, any direction here, it could be circles into the hips, forward and back, figure of 8. And the more we can slowly start to bring in awareness up through the pelvic floor and tone in the belly, this is going to help sort of inform that sort of sandwich effect of front and back, yeah, working together. In other words, so the back muscles aren't doing all of the work. Well done. So this time we're going to take the arm that's closest to me all the way up. Really stretch through that palm. Notice those little nerve endings all the way up into the armpit. And then exhale. Sweep the back of the hand all the way under. Now to come down, you'll have to bend the elbow of the supporting arm and come to rest all the way down. Good job. Nice deep breath. Breathing deep and settle. Don't be in any urgent rush to get the top arm extended, because it takes a few breaths, in my experience, just to settle into that shoulder joint. Yeah, we're easing into the sort of pressure of the upper body, just resting, opening up into the rotator cuff. So there's no rush. Feel your way. Let your breath be your guide. If that feels okay, you can start to extend that top arm. And you can always, walk it back. If you extend the arm and think, actually, that is too much, bring it back. There's no rule in any of our practice that says it's written in stone. We can be completely open to change, completely open to ideas, to trying something new. It's a wonderful thing to just be open to, that novelty. Well done. Draw that hand close towards the face. Press to come all the way up. Take your pillow, if it's there, just behind the buttocks, between the heels and the buttocks, and then come to sit up. Rest the hands, let everything settle. Deep breath in. Exhale. As you exhale, soften across the chest. Another deep breath. Exhale. In your own time, just follow that natural rhythm. With every single breath, just settling down through the spine. So hopefully this is comfortable for everybody. Yeah, just that little bit of padding, little bit of support. Easing into that sense of center through the pelvis. Lifting all the way up through the spine. Crown of the head is lifting upwards. Gently lower the head. Keep the spine nice and long, but chin drops towards the top of the sternum. Back of the neck remains as long as possible. And then the hands just travel down the thighs towards the knees, just extending those arms. So the spine is long, arms are long, fingers extend. Draw up through the pelvic floor, deep breath in. Lift the hands and then gently turn this to this side, okay? And then bring the hands around this side of the body. This back hand can just hang. It can take a hold of the blanket, it can find something to press into. It can just hold on to the edge. Nice deep breaths. If you have a lot of range of movement, you can bend the elbow and bring that arm around. You can bind into the other back arm of the elbow. You don't have to do all of this, of course. These are options. Sometimes we bind that space with a belt. We find the way to bridge the gap. Only if you're open in the shoulders. Otherwise, this is enough of a twist, a lovely twist too. Deep breath, tone in the belly, shoulders relax. And exhale. Really let all of that breath go and rest the hands on the thighs. Deep breath in. Lean forward, hands come towards the knees, and then exhale. Come back into alignment through the pelvis. Bring the hands around to the other side. And the same principle applies. You can just have the hands resting on the outside edge of that thigh, onto the pillow, onto a prop if you've got a little brick block there. Deep breaths. Equally, if you want to bring the arm all the way around, you can hook onto the other elbow. I'm just demoing that because I know you couldn't really see it on the other side. Deep breath. Ultimately, pelvis is still seated evenly across the sitting bones. We're not lifting a hip up or anything like that. Let the twist be up through the spine. And slowly exhale back to center. Well done. Release your blankets or your pillow, I should say. Hands well placed. Walk the body forward. You're just going to press up into a downward dog to release the feet, the legs, the backs of the legs. So come up nice and slowly, lifting the knees. Gently keep it all, nice and contained. You can slowly ease out those knee joints, lift each leg. And then the same with the hands and the wrists. Deep breaths, chin to chest. Let the whole of the head hang nice and low. And then exhale as you come all the way down. Toes tuck under. Hands on the hips. Come all the way up to this little halfway position. Adjust yourselves. Hands on the hips. Look forward. Chest open and relax. Well done. Slowly release. Give the hands a little shake. All the way down, out to the sides. And then all the way up. And then wide. Good job. Anything else that you want to throw in there that feels good? And then slowly we're going to come to sitting. So it may be that you want to extend the legs just to give them a little release. You can use your pillow, of course. So we're going to find ourselves a nice comfortable position for our meditation. I've got a few options for you today. Obviously, you can use your pillow. You can make that into a little sort of bolster shape. If you wrap a towel around a pillow, you can sort of make it into a bolster. I'm just going to demo that quickly now that I've promised something. A towel would be a bit more forgiving, but you can basically make it nice and tight, like so. And you've got a little bolster. Okay, like so. All right, so kneeling is an option. Equally, you may just want to have crossed legs, sit on a chair, whatever you need. You may want to have your back against something for support. Feel free to find that position that you need. You may want to dim the lights, put an extra layer on, pop your socks on even. All of those things all help. And a blanket, keep nice and warm, or shawl. Taking some nice deep breaths. I think I'm going to go for the real thing, as it were, as I have it there. Well done. And just come to rest. So a few principles for our meditation posture, whichever one we go for, ultimately so that the seat, whatever seat we're in, is balanced and steady. We can find that stillness. We can surrender the movements of the body. And then slowly the mind starts to follow that pattern. That's the hope. Anyone have a busy mind? Few of those around. Well done. So just resting. Nice deep breaths. And let the hands rest. So if you're in a position where the hands can rest on the tops of the thighs, you can have the palms open or palms down. You can take a mudra. Okay, so there are lots of different mudras that you can take. There's not a specific one for this shape, but chin mudra is a good one. You can have the little finger, index finger just curled and held by the thumb, and the other three fingers are free. Palms can then be down. Nice deep breath. Or equally, you can turn those palms up. So see what feels right for you. If it's going to cause any agitation in the mind, then it's best just to surrender and let the hands relax. So as I'm talking, just finding that center, just notice where you are through the pelvis, where the spine is, where the shoulders are. Notice if you're rounding forward, if you're leaning back, is there any pinching in the lower back? Do you need a little twist, a little movement, a little lift to the shoulders and a release? So ensure that all of those movements are sort of honoured and then surrendered. And bring your attention to the breath. I'm going to bring the hands actually onto the body. So before we take any mudra whatsoever, let's just place the hands on the body, one on the belly, one on the upper chest, around the heart space. Deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. And let that breath pattern just settle. Let it become your own, embodied, natural, honest. Noticing where that breath is, a more subtle breath. So you start to release any tension in the muscles, in the feet, the knees. Let the hands release. Let them rest or take the mudra of your choice. Let's take a deep breath in and chant Om 3 times together. Deep breath in. Om. Om. Last one. Om. Release. Just surrender the sound. We'll chant purnamadah and we'll drop into our meditation. If you know purnamadah, purnamidam, purnat, purnamudachyate, purnasya, purnamadaya, purnamevavashisyate. That's the full little verse. Then you may chant it with me, of course. Just listen to the words and let them resonate on whatever level you're able to connect with those words. Just find that stillness, that connection with the sound, with the listening. And we'll start with an Om. Om. Purnamadah, purnamidam, purnat, purnamudachyate, purnasya, purnamadaya, purnamevavashisyate. Om. Shanti, shanti, shanti. That is perfect. This is perfect. Take perfect from perfect. The remainder is perfect. May peace and peace and peace be everywhere. And just reflect on that in the heart. I'll mind the time. Taking a deep inhalation through the nose. Exhale. Release any mudra in the hands. And your invitation is to come to lie in shavasana. You're very welcome to stay in your meditation equally. If you are coming to lie down, you may use your pillow, of course, but leave some space on the back of the neck if possible. Use the pillow of the backs of the knees. And come to extend the whole body. Lay down with the same level of care as you would any other posture. If you think your pillow may be a little high for relaxation or release through the back of the neck, then just opt for the folded blanket instead. Extending the legs, nice deep breaths, so that the chin can drop down towards the chest, arms release, palms up as the legs extend. Nice deep breath in, and then as you exhale, just surrender the weight of the body to the earth. Eyes closed, jaw soft, and allow all tension to go. Soften through the muscles, release any holding in the joints, release the weight of the bones, the skin. And gently move the awareness to the heart space. Rest in that deep peace of yourself. Resting with the breath. Slowly, when you're ready, take a deep inhalation and then exhale. And slowly bend up the knees. Let the lower back settle. And roll over onto your side. When you're ready, just lie comfortably on your side. Slowly bringing yourself around. Some movement through the fingers and the toes. And a little light and colour into the eyes. Deep breaths. And without too much agitation, slowly bring yourself up from the side to a comfortable seated position. You can use your pillow, of course. And just find the exact balance of the body. So feel for those sitting bones. Maybe change the cross of your legs if you've been seated in Sukhasana. Hands to the heart space. Deep breath in. Exhale. Really allow the weight of the body to be felt, to be centered. Deep breath in again. Exhale. Thank you so much for practicing. Namaste. Look forward to seeing you next time. Soon, I hope. Sleep well.